Trish and Bronio here, coming to you from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, also known as the Paris of Appalachia. Super excited to be taking over the IBMA Instagram stories today to celebrate the release of my new EP, Bluegrass Love Songs Volume 1, which drops tomorrow, Friday, November 7th. Whenever I talk to people outside of Pittsburgh, they're always a little shocked at how much we have going on here with bluegrass. We have a really rich history that goes back decades, venues and musicians who helped shape the sound, in a community that still shows up every week and keeps the tradition alive. And it's that same community, the jams and the friends, and the music that happens all over this town that really gave me the spark to make this record. When I decided to make this record, I knew I wanted it to be a collaboration with women who've really helped shape bluegrass, the ones who paved the way for the rest of us to follow. And I had this list in my head of all people I admire, and honestly, I didn't think they'd say yes, and then all of them did. And you know that feeling when you're equal parts thrilled and 100% terrified? It was absolutely that. But making this record with them was one of those pinch me moments. Half the time, I couldn't believe I was in the room, and the other half, it just felt like a really great jam where everybody's listening and supporting one another. We're going to get more into the album in a bit, but first I want to tell you a little about the city that brought me to bluegrass and the cool history behind it. The Elizabeth Moose was about 35 minutes south of Pittsburgh down in the Mon Valley, and from the late 70s through the mid-90s, it was a true beating heart of bluegrass. Everybody played there. The Nashville Bluegrass Band, Tony Rice, the Osborne Brothers, Larry Sparks, Special Consensus, Reno Brothers, Bluegrass Cardinals, Lonesome River Band, Eddie Adcock, Doyle Lawson, David Greer, Lynn Morris, Third Time Out, Claire Lynch, Peter Rowan, Rhonda Vincent, and so many more. You'd see lineups with names like that all in one season. The mayor of Elizabeth, Barry Butcher, grew up going to shows like this and told me that Rod McNeil was the driving force behind it all. The regular Moose members weren't into bluegrass. They'd hang out in another room, but Rod and the bluegrass crowd kept the lights on. Barry said Rod was really strict about respect for the bands, and he'd shoot the talkers, or chompers as I like to call them, to the back of the room. The place was super tiny, and the folks in the front were basically sitting on stage with the band. It was such an iconic spot that Tim O'Brien wrote a song called Rod McNeil. There's even an urban legend that Allison Krauss played there once, but the show got canceled. The story never did. Just north of Pittsburgh in Tarentum, Mountaintop Campground hosted one of the longest-running bluegrass festivals in western PA. For nearly 20 years, Francine and Ed Michaels ran it, welcoming Kenny Baker, Josh Graves, Nothing Fancy, Daleen Vincent, the Grass Gals, Larry Cordell, Eddie and Martha Adcock, and so many others. Families would camp all weekend, and the lineup was always stacked. Back in the city, Walsh's Lounge and Bar in East Liberty was legendary. The music happened downstairs in a low-ceilinged basement, and the country gentlemen even recorded there. David Grisman once sat in with Mac Martin for a set, and when Mac decided to step back from playing, the Dixie Travelers kept a weekly residency going strong. Over on the south side, Wobblie Joe's was home base for the Dog Run Boys, a band started by Bob Artis and Rick Malice in 1979. Crowds lined up and down the street to get in, and on at least 2 occasions, they even ran out of beer. Other venues like Calamity Jane's, V's Cafe, Portfolio, Antonio's, Frank Gustine's, Craig Street Inn, and Graffiti all played their part in keeping bluegrass alive across our city for many years.
Thank you. Welcome to the Bluegrass Jamboree. My name is Bob Artis. I'll be your host tonight for some of the best bluegrass our part of the world has to offer. Bluegrass is kind of on a roll right now nationwide due to some big hits out of Nashville, Ricky Skaggs and people like that. And people don't realize we have one of the biggest, most loyal bluegrass followings in the entire country right here in Pittsburgh. The one man responsible for this is my old ex-boss from a long time ago, one of the greatest, Mac Martin and the Dixie Travelers. Give him a nice hand, would you please? Mac, when did you start in the business?
Well, we started up in Greensburg, probably in the late 1940s, 1949, and then we became the Dixie Travelers probably about 1955.
That's the golden age of bluegrass, right?
Golden age of bluegrass, and we haven't changed.
We're great.
Swinging a 9-pound hammer all day, work for the slave till my dead of day. Listen to my hammer ring loud and long. This time
Today's Wednesday. You know what that means? It's Banjo Night in Pittsburgh.
Thanks for following me through a quick look back at Pittsburgh's bluegrass history. We've had some really cool stuff happen around here, and unfortunately, I found bluegrass way too late to have caught any of it firsthand. But we've got some amazing things happening now, and I'll share some more of that with you in a bit. But before I do, let me tell you a little more about my debut EP, which comes out tomorrow, Friday, November 7th. It's called Bluegrass Love Songs Volume 1, and that title is a nod to something that I like to say on stage when I introduce these so-called love songs. You know the ones, they lean more towards the cheating and the lying and the dumping. As my buddy Jimmy Hall likes to say, they are the sad songs we sing with great joy. So the love songs on this album are the ones where everyone stays alive at the end. That's what makes them Volume 1. Volume 2, those end just a little differently, and usually involve a river. The album has 3 singing songs, Bury Me Beneath the Willow, Don't This Road Look Rough and Rocky, and Think of What You Done. All pretty straightforward love song material there. But I also included the Clinch Mountain Backstep and the Cherokee Shuffle, which might not fit the theme at first glance. But for me, Clinch Mountain Backstep, it's always been a love-hate tune. It took me forever to catch the backstep. Forever. Every time I thought I had it, missed it, it was already gone. And I would absolutely dread it when someone called it a jam because I knew I was going to screw it up. But when it finally clicked, it became one of my favorite tunes to play, so it earned its spot on the album. We call the Cherokee Shuffle the Western Pennsylvania Bluegrass National Anthem. Everybody around here knows it, even the beginners. It's not exactly a straightforward chord progression, and the melody's a little tricky, but there's just something about it that people here love. When we play it at shows, we usually say, "Please rise" for the Western Pennsylvania Bluegrass National Anthem. And while most people just laugh, we did have one show where the whole room stood up, so I guess it's maybe catching on. I included it on the album as a love song to Pittsburgh. This is the city where I found bluegrass, and I fell in love with it, and with the community that keeps it alive. And speaking of community, there's still a strong crew of people here picking and supporting bluegrass in and around the city. Stay tuned, I can't wait to show you more of what's happening. The Starlite Lounge in Blawnox has been home to Pittsburgh's Tuesday Night Bluegrass Jam for more than 25 years, and it's still going strong. Lou Scheiman has hosted it from the start, and just about everybody in our community has spent time there learning the tunes and cutting their teeth. We even had some celebrity drop-ins when they're playing next door at Moondogs. And Starlite might be the only jam in America where you can trade breaks while eating a pierogi the size of your hand, though probably not at the same time. And we've got jams almost every day of the week. Wednesdays at Cookie Ice Cream, Thursdays at Roma Pizza, and Sundays I host one that rotates between a few different spots in town. And there are more outside of the city too. Tuesdays in Latrobe, Wednesdays in Delmont, and Fridays in Burgettstown. For a small city, that's a lot of bluegrass. We all work together to keep it that way, making sure we're not stepping on each other's nights so the scene stays strong. So if you're ever coming through town, you can always find a jam, and you're guaranteed to have good food, good drink, and good company. One of the reasons Pittsburgh's bluegrass scene is so strong, especially for a city of our size, is because we've got several radio shows that still play and support the music, including artists right here at home. WYEP's Bluegrass Jam Session with Bruce Mountjoy has been on the air since 1978. That same year, Larry Berger launched the Saturday Light Brigade. It's still going strong today on WRCT. And since 2018, Richard Gordon, also known as Mando Richard, has hosted 2 weekly shows on WRCT, Whiskey Before Breakfast and The Black Diamond Show, showcasing traditional bluegrass and plenty of local talent. Bruce, Larry, and Richard have all featured both singles from my EP, and I'm really grateful to have that kind of support right here at home. When you've got radio that plays your neighbors, it keeps the whole scene connected, and that's a big part of why bluegrass is still thriving here in Pittsburgh. Another thing that makes Pittsburgh's bluegrass scene so strong is how many places step up to support the music. Our Folk Music Society has been around since 1976. They bring in great artists, feature local musicians, and run a folk school where you can learn everything from shape note singing to bluegrass bass. Our local acoustic music shop is a real hub for workshops and collaboration, and a small brewery on the north side has become one of the biggest champions of bluegrass in the city. They open their doors to bluegrass bands and jams several times each month. It's places like these and others across the region that keep Pittsburgh's bluegrass scene growing. Between our local jams, the venues, all the radio support, and our rich history, it's easy to see why Pittsburgh has such a strong bluegrass community. That kind of support is really what made making this record feel possible for me. But I think you've heard plenty from me about Pittsburgh, so now let me brag a little, or maybe a lot, about the folks who made this record sound so good. I first heard about Murphy Henry years ago through friends of mine who were taking lessons from her in Winchester. They absolutely love her, said she's tough and funny and one of the best teachers out there. And they're right. And she's no nonsense. She'll tell you straight up how it is, which I truly value coming from the classical world. She literally created a way of teaching the banjo where you can pick it up on day 1, and by day 5 you're actually playing something. She also wrote the first book ever dedicated entirely to women in bluegrass. Even if her banjo skills didn't crush, those 2 things alone would make her a total badass. I absolutely love her playing on this EP. It's tasteful and solid and full of drive. And the really cool thing is because we tracked bass and guitar and banjo first, I got to hear her backup wide open. It blew me away. You don't often get to hear those parts completely exposed. And the timing and the tone, they were spot on, and the way she framed the groove was completely awesome. I originally asked Dee Dee Weiland to play guitar on this project, but she's one of those musicians that can do it all. She's a founding member of Tony Trish and Skyline. She's an incredible vocalist, and she's one of the most respected vocal coaches out there. While I thought I had meticulously planned everything for the session, I completely forgot to ask anybody to sing harmony before we got into the studio. Tell me voice isn't your primary instrument without telling me, right? But thankfully, Dee Dee is total pro, and she saved me. Thank you, Dee Dee. On Don't This Road Look Rough and Rocky, she's singing both harmony parts, so when I was tracking my vocal part, it was like being in a Dee Dee Weiland vocal sandwich. And I gotta say, it's kind of a cool place to be. You can always tell when Becky Bowler's playing. She's got this sound that's bright and confident and full of energy, and she brought all of that to this EP. There's one spot during her break in Clinch Mountain Backstep where she drops into this syncopated rhythm that's absolutely sick. It's one of my favorite moments on the whole album. But honestly, I could go on all day. Every time she takes a break, something she does just makes my ears perk up. Becky's a first lady of bluegrass. She's a band leader. She's a songwriter. She's a fiddler. And she's a total force. And she's also one of the kindest people I've ever met. I'm so grateful she said yes to be part of this project. Rainey Miyake played mandolin on the record, and she brought this calm, steady groove that grounded everything. She's one of those musicians who never overdoes it. Every note has purpose, and there's a quiet strength in how she delivers it. If you've ever seen her with Sister Sadie, you know what I mean. Her tone and timing are effortless. And her break on Cherokee Shuffle is one of my favorite moments on the album. It's strong, graceful, and has this perfect edge that just lifts the whole track. If you've ever wondered what it's like to work with somebody who can hear the exact frequency your soul is vibrating at, that's Christopher Henry. Christopher produced, engineered, and mixed this whole EP, and honestly, he made it sound both like a warm hug and a quiet heartbreak, all at the same time. His ears are unreal, and his dedication to the music runs so deep. He's got this rare mix of focus and openness, and he listens so deeply, and he knows how to pull the best out of everybody in the room without ever making it feel forced. I couldn't imagine making this record without him. He's the heartbeat behind how it all sounds. After the core tracks were done, a few more folks helped to bring Bluegrass Love Songs Volume 1 all the way across the finish line. Mark Rotterbaugh recorded Rainey's tracks and brought calm and precision to the session. He's got a great ear for acoustic tone and the patience to get every detail right. Ben Surratt recorded Becky's parts. He's worked with just about everyone in bluegrass, and he knows exactly how to capture that warmth and balance we all chase. And Will Shank handled the mastering, adding his wizardry to give the album that final clarity and polish that ties it all together. One thing I really loved about this project was seeing how the visual side came together. All of the artwork, from the singles to the full album, was designed by Landon Elmore, who's a fellow member of Leadership Bluegrass class of 2018. Landon's done design work for so many bluegrass artists and festivals, and he has this incredible eye for capturing the feel of the music in his visuals. For Bluegrass Love Songs Volume 1, he found an amazing painting by Bruce DeBoer that tied everything together perfectly. The texture, the color, and the warmth, and it really just felt right to add it. He also created my Trish Plays Bass logo, which I absolutely love. It feels classic and a little playful, and it really captures what I'm all about. Well, Yins, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about the city that made me fall in love with bluegrass, and all the amazing musicians, engineers, and artists who helped make Bluegrass Love Songs Volume 1 what it is. This has been such a blast. Huge thanks to IBMA for letting me take over your Instagram stories today, to Heidi Labenzart for helping to coordinate everything, and to everyone who's been checking out the singles and helping the music make its way into the world. You can find the full EP everywhere you stream music tomorrow, Friday, November 7th. And you can follow me on the socials at Trish Plays Bass, or visit trishplaysbass.com to keep up with what's next. But before I go, I couldn't end this without introducing the real stars of the show, our cats. We've got Jerry Jerome Rice Garcia. He's our old man. Next in line are the brothers, Lester Cat and Earl Snuggs. And just over a year ago, we adopted some sisters, Hazel Scritchins and Alice Perard. It really is a bluegrass household around here. They keep us grounded and entertained and usually awake at 3 a.m. Thanks again for sticking around with me today. I really hope to see you down the road.